Hey guys, welcome back to Paul's Porsche. But today, we're not in a Porsche. We're in a supercharged, British-built 4.2-liter V8. And there are some reasons for that, and we're going to discuss the differences between this and the 996 that I was considering buying. Now, for some of you guys, there's nothing like a Porsche, and I agree, there's nothing like a Porsche. However, I think you're going to like this one. Stay tuned. Here she is. This is the culmination of my search for the perfect sports GT. As you guys may know from my last video, I relocated to Houston, and obviously Houston is not California. It was my time when I thought, am I really going to be okay with a small sports car in Houston, which is the land of pickup trucks? So I thought I want something a little bit larger. I still wanted something performance-oriented, and I thought maybe it was time to look beyond the land of the 996 and the 998 and even potentially a 997 into something a little bit larger that still would suit my needs in terms of performance handling and performance in terms of being able to get around and do my day-to-day and still have something that I thought was enjoyable to drive. So, in looking at the cars in that category, there were the Corvette, the 996, and ultimately the Jaguar, specifically the XK 150 class. Now, the reason why the Jaguar XK 150 was important is this is the all-new aluminum chassis that came out with this particular model. The earlier model was based on technology from the 1970s. Lots of problematic engine issues, electrical issues, and things of that nature that I really didn't want to deal with. The more research I did on the XK 150, I found out the technology was all basically derived with the partnership with Ford, with the all-new aluminum engine, the 4.2-liter and either naturally aspirated at about 300 horsepower or 4.2 supercharged at 420 horsepower. And for the prices that you can step into an XK 150, 420 horsepower is all the horsepower you're ever going to need, and the thing is beautiful. So, let's just talk about what makes the XK 150 potentially a great choice for someone looking for a sports GT in the used car market. Called CAT, which is Jaguar's trademark for adaptive handling. And if you know the roads in Texas, the way it smooths out bumps, it still gives you a sports car feel. It's pretty amazing technology. It's actually amazing. The one thing I enjoy too is that you can either cruise around in it as a daily driver, but when you want to step on the gas and hit the curves, the car handles beautiful, smooths the road out, and you can't tell you're any longer in a large sports GT. You feel like you're in a sports car, which is pretty amazing. One of the things about the Jaguar that they've also built in terms of their technology is the fact that the 6-speed automatic transmission is very responsive. It's not like a cruiser mobile where the shifting is lazy. When you want to drive actively and it has sports paddle shifters, and you want to drive it like it's a sports car and shift on your own, rev it out a little bit and do all those fun things that we enjoy a sports car for, this car is perfectly capable of that. So all that talk about technology and handling and the engine and all that good stuff, does it matter if the car doesn't look good? This car looks great. This is absolutely one of the best looking cars, I think, on this market, in this particular category of cars. It's a beautiful car. When you talk about the curves and the lines of this car, it's unique to like nothing else. I mean, the only thing close to this would be like an Aston Martin, which is also a British-built sports Grand Tourer. But the lines of this car is absolutely beautiful. From the sculpted rear end of the fenders, the way it flares out, it's beautifully designed, and it stands out wherever you go. There's no place you're going to drive this car and people are not going to say, wow, that's a good looking car. Even if it's not something that they would necessarily lean into, you can't help but be noticing a Jaguar. It's a Jag. It's all like it's molded from one piece. It's just a beautifully designed car. It says sports, and although it's a Grand Tourer, it's undeniably a sporty car. So people may want to call it a grandfather car, but you'd be a pretty good grandfather driving around in one of these. This is a pre-update 2008. So it doesn't have all the extra little grills and little fluorescent thing, and I like it that way. I think this is a much cleaner design. It's got just enough pop with the hood vents to let you know there's a supercharger underneath there, and this baby breathes fire. That's the one styling cue to let you know you're in a supercharged 4.2 as opposed to the standard naturally aspirated 4.2. This particular car is actually blue, and some lights it looks black, but it's actually a beautiful deep midnight metallic blue. Absolutely gorgeous paint color. And up close you can see the metallic in the paint. It's a beautiful color. This particular model is optioned as the Portfolio. So the Portfolio comes with a few interesting styling cues. You get the 20-inch rims, you get the larger brakes, you get a few styling cues done on the inside that tell you you're in a Portfolio. The inner door stamps are stamped Portfolio. But other than that, it's not really a performance thing. It's all about aesthetics in the Portfolio. It's just a few added nice touches to make your car distinguished from the normal 4.2 liter XKR. But nothing to really take away from the design. It is a beautiful design. Again, this one comes standard with 20-inch rims. These have been kitted out with the chrome version. I'm not really a chrome guy, but on this car, I think it looks great. One of the handy things about this is that it's a hatchback design. So, not only do you get the performance of a sports GT, you get the use of a pretty decent sized hatchback in terms of storage. You can dig this car every day, and that's one of the great things about it. It's very useful on a daily basis. One of the other styling cues about the 4.2 XKR is that you get the dual exhaust tips, which is a very nice touch and adds a very sporty look to the car as well. Besides all the performance cues and a great drive, you also get a car that's extraordinarily comfortable, and again, it's perfect for day-to-day use. I've never driven a car more comfortable than the XKR. It's got these incredible leather seats, well tufted and supported. They have 12-way memory, so you literally can adjust this thing in an unimaginable number of ways to suit you and your driving characteristics, including basically hugging you in so that you can really take those curves any way you want to. It's practical in terms of its storage. Not bad on gas mileage. You can get around 18 in the city. On the highway, you're doing about 30, which isn't too bad for a supercharged 4.2 liter V8. And let me tell you something. If you got a heavy right foot, you could drive with anybody. In terms of the 996 compared to this, you're talking something around the difference between 280 horsepower to this car has 420. You can keep up with anything. And I'm not talking about on the track. I mean in day-to-day driving on the highway. If you need to pass somebody, they're passed. This car is awesome. So, my ownership experience, let's talk about that. Because obviously, there's a little trepidation about maintenance costs when it comes to a Jaguar. I think with some of the older models, maintenance was an issue. Based on my research and my own ownership experience, this car is no more difficult rather to maintain than any other premium car. Parts have been readily available on the internet, and some work I've actually been able to do myself. So let's talk about what I've done. The car's an older supercharged car. The supercharger generates lots of heat on those interior cooling pipes. And unfortunately, Jaguar/Ford fitted them with plastic cooling pipes, which break after time. This car has over 100,000 miles on it. And unfortunately, not too long after I bought the car, it seemed like one after the other I was replacing coolant hoses, which were all plastic. Some of which were easy to reach, some were not. The one that caused me the most trouble was the one directly underneath the supercharger. That was labor intensive, cost quite a bit of money to replace. That was about $700 because of the labor. The part itself, I think, was about 120 bucks. But because they have to remove the supercharger to access the hose, that was an expensive job. I replaced the upper main radiator hose. A few other coolant hoses have been replaced. I've got fresh tires all the way around that were done. And of course the oil change and a tune-up. I changed my coils. I changed my plugs, so the car is driving amazingly. The standard exhaust is really all you ever need. You don't really need to customize it unless you just want something particularly loud. And I'm sure most of you guys who are interested in Jaguars have heard that there's a valve trick you can do. So basically you remove the number 10 fuse from the fuse box, because this has a variable valve exhaust, and that leaves the exhaust open at all times, so you get that raspy V8 sound all the time, just by removing that fuse. So those are the modifications that I've done and the repairs that I've done. So I'm gonna say, all in all, my total repair cost to keep this car running the way it should be has been about $1,200 in the year that I've had it. And again, those are maintenance things that probably would have been done eventually anyway, and they won't have to be done probably for the rest of the time that I own the car. So take that for what it's worth. But the maintenance on this car has not been anything extraordinary, and the car has been extraordinarily reliable. I've driven it back and forth between Houston and Dallas several times. That's a 4-hour drive each way, and it's an amazing car on the highway. I think you will certainly enjoy the experience. I mean, I challenge anyone to take one out and not be impressed by it. It's an impressive handling vehicle, and as I've said several times already, it's beautiful. And you've got to like what you're looking at when you take ownership of a car. It's one of those cars where you get out of it, you park it in the parking lot, and you're going to look back and say, that's a good looking car. Want a little bit of attention when you're out and about, it's probably not the choice for you, but if you enjoy driving a good looking Grand Tourer, the Jaguar XK 150 might be the car for you. So, to answer your question, is it really the British 911? No, it's not. The Jaguar and the Porsche 911 are two completely different cars. Whereas the 911 is a taut German sports car, the Jaguar is a British Grand Touring car. It is sporty, it has sporting characteristics, and it does have great performance if you choose to drive it as such. However, they have very different feels to the cars, and they really serve two different purposes. The purpose of a 911 is to basically tear up the asphalt and rip through those gears in a very sports car-like way. The Jaguar is a much more relaxed drive. You can drive it like a performance vehicle, and it does have great performance. However, its steering is not quite as precise, its handling not quite as sure, because it's not a sports car. It never was intended to be, but it is a great all-around grand touring vehicle. I think it's an awesome choice for those looking for something sporty without it necessarily being a sports car. It has great utilitarian use. It's got the hatchback, it's got storage, it's got good size, it's got good performance, and it's a lot easier to maintain than people would have you believe. So, if you're out there looking for something sporty, something a little bit different, that isn't quite a 911, but gives you almost as much performance in a great package, try a Jaguar. You might just find that you like it. Jag. So guys, thanks for joining me again on Paul's Porsche, and look forward to future videos, and I'll see you guys on the road.